The Dauphiné, an unassuming week-long race that just so happens to be the main warm-up race for the world's best before the Tour de France. For many teams, this is where the new tech gets tested in preparation for the world's biggest stage. But unfortunately for them, it's not away from prying eyes. Our prying eyes. Here's 8 things we learned from the 2023 Criterium de Dauphiné. When walking around the team buses at the Dauphiné, there's always a chance that you'll get to see an unreleased superbike. But this year, we were really spoiled for choice with 3 bikes that aren't currently on the market to you and I. First up, we have a new Ridley, being ridden by the likes of Maxim Vangeels of Lotto Destiny. Of Ridley's current bikes, this prototype most resembles the Noah, but we'd say that it's not an update of this, and instead a completely new one. The bike definitely looks as though it's trying to combine aero and lightweight, as we've seen plenty of brands do in recent years, so it's most likely going to be Ridley's one bike to do it all. We can expect plenty more Lotto Destiny riders to be using this by the Tour. It doesn't half look like a giant propel though, does it? Next up, we have the prototype BMC being ridden by French team AG2R Citroën, which we reckon is the new Time Machine Road. This is a seriously good looking bike, which judging by the sticker on the fork, has been designed in conjunction with Red Bull. You can check out all the details we know so far using the video card up there. The final unreleased bike at the Dauphiné was under Team Cofidis. This look that we first reported on back in January after a social media leak has still not been officially released, and by now it has got to be the worst kept secret in the cycling industry. Cofidis have dropped Campagnolo for 2023 and instead used Shimano. All the bikes were fitted with Corima wheels, which might sound obvious, but just hang on a second. Astana, never a team to be out the news, are they? This year has been almost for all the right reasons, with new signing Cav picking up that final Giro sprint and giving us all a spark of hope that he might just be able to get that all-important stage win at the Tour de France. Despite announcing that he'll retire at the end of the season, Cav is seemingly not afraid to upset the apple cart, and early in the year, Cycon Sport CEO ripped into Astana, Kazakhstan, saying it was unfortunate that a team would not stand up for what is ethically the right thing to do. That was after Mark Cavendish continued using Oakley sunglasses instead of the team's eyewear sponsors' products. We thought that that was the end of that, but has Cav been influencing the team's other sponsorship deals? These wheels, for example, it doesn't take a genius to work out that they're not Corimas. Corima has a rich history in the World Tour. They've racked up 4 Grand Tours and 1 road race Olympic road title in the last decade alone, and it's a brand that seems reluctant to go tubeless. Is that what's driving Astana away? About half the team were spotted using these head wheels, whilst the other remain on Corima. Head is a brand with an excellent reputation for making seriously aerodynamic wheels, and Astana don't seem to be trying to hide the fact that they're using them with these rather huge blue decals. We'll be releasing our full tech trends of the Tour de France feature in a few weeks' time, but as a little teaser, here's a trend that is no longer up for debate in the pro peloton. At the Dauphiné, Aero is undoubtedly more important than low weight, and very few of the riders are on bikes at risk of breaking the UCI's minimum weight limit of 6.8 kilos. This is a stark contrast to bikes being used in the World Tour a decade ago, where lightweight tube profiles, less gears and rim brakes meant that on some occasions riders were spotted adding lead to their bikes in order for them to meet the regulations. We put plenty of pros bikes on the scales of truth at the Dauphiné, including Adam Yates's Colnago V4S, Vingegaard's Cervelo S5 and Sam Bennett's S-Works SL7. All of them were a good few hundred grams over 6.8 kilos, thanks to aero features such as deep wheels, aero profile handlebars and deep tubes designed to cheat the wind. The Dauphiné is usually pretty telling of who's going to feature at the Tour, and this year Jonas Vingegaard of Team Jumbo-Visma left little question over his form. With wins on 2 of the 8 stages, some exceptional lead out on sprint days and 2 second places to boot, Vingegaard put nearly 2.5 minutes into his closest rivals, who by the end of the Dauphiné barely looked like they could see any point in attempting to chase him. Obviously, the Tour is long and anything can happen, but Vingegaard looks in a seriously strong place to defend his title. Of course, his main rival, Tadej Pogačar, wasn't at the Dauphiné, so maybe he can bring the fight to the young Danish rider. We've sporadically seen one-by and single chainrings appearing in the pro peloton over the last few years, most often in time trials. However, the Dauphiné proved that the Giro wasn't just a one-off for Jumbo-Visma, and the SRAM-sponsored team really is committing to finding every last marginal gain. You can check out Vingegaard's single chainring bike using the card up above, but spoiler, we don't envy his gearing choices. Our legs hurt just imagining trying to climb on them. Jumbo Visma were also spotted. Jumbo Visma were also spotted with some rogue-looking shifters that are far more like Force than Red in their appearance. It's safe to say that they're prepared to leave no stone unturned in their quest to once again be the dominant team at the Tour. It has never exactly been a sprinter's paradise, but it was hard to put a finger on any one sprinter who absolutely dominated. Of course, it was Christophe Laporte that racked up 2 stage wins, but his second in particular looked like it was others making errors than Laporte having legs 10 times stronger than anyone else. Laporte was in acclaimed company, with the likes of Groenewegen, Trentin, Bosenhagen and Sam Bennett all competing as they prepared for the Tour. We could be set for an absolute cracker at this year's Tour de France, as there doesn't appear to be any one dominant sprinter or sprint team like in previous years, where in the run-up you've had the likes of Bennett, Kittel, Gaviria and co. They've looked unstoppable and then gone on to be unstoppable. The new Campagnolo Super Record Wireless was released just a week before the start of the Dauphiné, so this was the first time that it was seen being raced in the public eye. On the whole, it seemed like a success, with the wireless mechs doing their business as they span their way onto the Dauphiné podium under Ben O'Connor. At the Dauphiné, it looked like most of AG2R Citroën, now the only team sponsored by Campagnolo, were using the new group set, and we were told that we can expect the rest of the spare bikes to migrate over to the new system as more become available. This was also the first time that we got to see the new group set in the flesh. road.cc tech editor Matt was particularly impressed, saying that it looked very slick, polished and every bit the high-end group set that is expected from the Super Record line. High praise from a man that's been saying for years that the outgoing Super Record was looking quite dated. The Dauphiné wasn't a complete wash away for the French. In fact, French riders won the first 3 stages. Not only that, but it looks like Alaphilippe is back to his punchy and lively self, and most importantly, looking like he's enjoying his racing. However, the Dauphiné was also one of the final chances for a Frenchman to assert themselves as a real threat for the Tour de France podium, and well, that didn't happen. Guillaume Martin was the highest placed French rider on GC, but so far has always come unstuck on a tour that's 3 weeks long. Last year it was David Gaudu that seemed to be the up-and-coming Frenchman, but he had a Dauphiné to forget. He said, "It was complicated, it was a difficult day and it was very fast and I was not as strong as the rivals on the final climb. So we have to analyse what happened and understand the reason why it happened." As he failed to break into the top 20 on any stage. It looks as though the French hopes and dreams of their home race result will once again fall upon Thibaut Pinot. What do you think the most interesting tech was at the Dauphiné, and which rider or team impressed you the most? Let us know down in the comment section below, and if you found this video interesting, then drop us a like, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and we'll see you next time.